Hi, in this video, we will see how to set the Gpio ports of A153 board in both input as well as output modes. For output, we will use one of the inbuilt RGB LED as an output device. Specifically, the R color port is connected to GPIO 3 underscore 12. 3 is GPIO port 3 and the pin number is 12. From the schematic, we can see that this RGB LED is a common anode configuration, meaning if we set the GPIO pin as 1, it will turn off, and if we set the pin as 0, it will turn on. Okay, for our input, we will use one of the inbuilt switches present in the board, which is specifically switch number 3, which can be user configured. From the schematic, we can see that by default, if we read the pin, it will be high, and when we press the button, it will be low. Let's switch to the MCXA153 IDE and create a new project. We will select A153 chipset and the appropriate SDK and use some name as GPIO. Let's ensure that GPIO drivers are enabled as well. We can see that GPIO driver has already been enabled. Since the application is quite small, I'm disabling some of the unnecessary libraries that are included by default. If we go to the generator code, we can see that none of the GPIOs are configured by default. We have to head over to the pin section and enable the GPIOs one by one. Initially, I'm going to enable the output pin alone, specifically pin connected to the red LED. By default, GPIO related SDK is already present, but we can also enable them from the component viewer as well. It will ask for some interrupt, even though we don't use interrupt for output pins. Let's click the generate code. Since we haven't enabled the UART peripheral, I'm going to remove some of the unnecessary code. Here I got confused because I used the STM32's API to call the write pin operation. Since we want to turn on the LED immediately, I'm setting the pin as 0. To turn it off, we will use 1. We can directly write to the pin using the set and clear registers. PCOR to clear the output register and SOR to set the output register. Let's compile our code and debug the application. Since the GPIO was initially set to low, it will turn on even before it reaches the while loop. So currently I'm stepping one step at a time, toggling the GPIO port. We can see the LED is turning on and off. That's it for GPIO as an output operation. Now we will see how to configure the GPIO port in an input operation mode. What we are going to do is enable the switch 3 as an input port, and as soon as we press the input, the output should turn on. And when we release the button, it should turn off. Even though I'm enabling the interrupts, we are going to use the polling method. Let's build and flash our code. As soon as I press the button, you can see the LED is turning on. Once I release the button, it turns off. That's it. We have seen how to configure the GPI version input as well as output mode. Thank you for watching.